Hi everyone, Heather here from the California After School Network. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you all are doing well in these challenging times. This is our fifth video in this series of roughly weekly virtual fireside chats with Michael Funk from the California Department of Education. And you can find all of these chats in our COVID-19 Resource Center on the CAN website and on our YouTube channel. Today we have a couple of special guests joining us that I'm really excited about. We have Marcus Strother, the Director of Youth Development from Sac City Unified School District, and we have one of his students who is a senior, Malik Ibarra. Welcome to both of you. And we are setting aside most of our time to actually hear about what's going on at the district level and also what's going on with our students. So Michael, before we jump into our conversation with Marcus and Malik, we did release a pretty big update on Monday morning on the grant extension. I'm sure you've already received a lot of follow-up questions and just wanted to check in with you to see if you had any updates to share before we jump
in. Yeah, welcome Marcus and Malik. I'm thrilled that you're joining Heather and I today because I've had a chance to get to know both of you. Marcus is a friend and an inspiration and a colleague, and Malik and I actually had a chance to do some work together several months ago, and so I love both of them and so glad they're here. Yeah, we had a big policy announcement on Monday in terms of the extension of the ACES 21st Century and Assets grants and other details, and that has since been released in writing. And you're right, Heather, a lot of questions have come in terms of, well, what does that mean? So even this afternoon, we're continuing to work on what the amended grant agreement is going to look like and what the assurances are going to be added to that to give you clear guidance and guidelines. I think there's a somewhat of a difference there, but guidelines and guidance in terms of what that money should be used for. And I still say the same thing I said Monday. Our programs should be doing whatever they can to support students, their families, and our communities. Get a lot of questions. Is it allowable for me to do virtual enrichment or virtual academic enrichment or virtual field trips? I can tell you, my third grade daughter is a recipient of services from Marcus's office at the Sac City Unified School District. And this afternoon, she's taking a virtual trip to the San Diego Zoo, and she's excited about it. And that's the kind of thing that is such an important, it's such an important aspect to how she navigates the day in terms of homeschool, this homeschool, this school at home environment, and the sense that she can do something fun like go to the zoo with the after school provider that's part of the Sac City Unified System is just amazing. So a lot of good stuff. A lot of people are really thinking more about, am I allowed to do this versus what can I be doing and what's possible? So to that end, I'm excited to have Marcus and Malik join us today for a conversation. And Marcus, we'll start with you. You've shared with me lots of different amazing things that you're doing at Sac City Unified, so take it away.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Michael and Heather. Appreciate all that CDE as well as California After School Network does for just the state of expanded learning in the work. So this is exciting to be in the space to be able to talk with you all about what we're doing. Our youth development department with Sac City Unified is, an amazing group of folks. I have an amazing team. Couldn't ask for better folks to be in the space with during this time. And immediately, we thought about the connections for our young people as the number one. For us, whole child is huge. Life data matters. You hear us talk about that often, and really just started thinking about the emotional well-being of our young people and what does that look like and what are the connections our after-school folks have, just to make sure that our young people are in a good space. So we wanted to really, one, be able to define what after school looks like from a distance learning perspective, But we also didn't want to overload folks because there's, you know, a learning curve for parents, there's a learning curve for teachers, there's a learning curve for students. You know, I was reminded with some of my Freedom Writer teachers, we were talking about, you know, not every teacher can become a tech guru overnight, you know, and not every parent is in a space to try to hold down a job or currently not hold down a job and also be a teacher at home. You know, so how can we make this as engaging as possible, but also, you know, not stressful? So we really thought about, you know, as opposed to a 2-3 hour program every day, especially thinking about the academics and how we don't have loss of learning, you know, what is a reasonable amount of time for our after school providers to check in with all of our young people. And one of the guidelines we gave for our Sac City folks is 60 minutes. We said at least provide 60 minutes. And I can say, you know, out loud that many of our community partners are doing much longer than 60 minutes. But we are asking from a district standpoint to at least provide 60 minutes. And what we thought about was, how do we kind of break this into AVID, if you're familiar with kind of the AVID method, where we have 2 days. It's really just about the emotional well-being of young people. So checking in with those students, making sure that they're in a good place, allowing them to be able to discuss whatever it is they feel like they want to discuss, you know, and just say hello, just know that we're here. The other 2 days we said academic enrichment, right? So is that tutoring? Is that supporting any of the other work that may be coming in? How do you throw out some different online games that may be in place for us to be able to use? But what are ways that you can get them engaged? Yep. But also outside of the academic engagement, how do we focus on some STEAM, really thinking about, though, the arts part of that? So we have a lot of great community partners. Mike B, who's doing DJ session videos, you know, to teach kids how to DJ. We have T. Sandifer with Studio T doing dance videos, you know, so the kids can get on and dance. We have a lot of folks who are doing arts videos, learning how to draw from different perspectives and what it all looks like. But really then also now, how do we make it fun, right? So how do we not just focus on the academic piece, but we also bring in the arts, we also bring in the music, you know, the Charlie Coopers of our Sac City work, you know, to really just be able to touch base with the young people in a different way. And then what we said was every Friday, you know, and if it's not Friday and it's a different day, like today with your daughter, take a virtual field trip. You know, so we put together a one-pager that had different ideas for online games that addressed math and English. We put together a one-pager that just addressed any of the opportunities that are out there that could be used in the academic space. You know, so from Kid Grit to things that you may find at a museum in terms of being able to check in there. But then our other one-pager was virtual field trips, going to the San Diego Zoo. We did one with Parks and Recs that has a lot of great opportunities to check out different parks throughout the state of California, you know, and how do we get young people to be able to go and do that? So we mapped out the 5 days, where it was 2 days of academic enrichment, 2 days of really whole child emotional well-being check-ins, and that last day being about virtual field trips and just asking for that 60 minutes. But again, we have great partners. We have folks like Daryl Roberts and Miss Jackie who are doing virtual kind of freedom school-like work. We have Sac Chinese with Shannon Roth and the work that they're doing. You know, just their agency alone has been amazing. Last week with their attendance, had already reached out in our K-8s to almost over 3,000 young people. And the way we were able to get that was all of our providers are using Google Classroom. Dylan Fisher, who's on our team, put together a great one-pager on how do you set up a Google Classroom. Here's some different videos. Google has done a great job pushing out videos to help you be able to get a very quick tutorial. But again, we also understand everybody doesn't become a tech guru overnight. But with that, we also do Google Forms. So the Google Form has become our attendance check-in every day. And I'll say this last piece, with that attendance check-in, what we did was every day is a new essential question. So it's not just getting on doing something that may seem redundant every day in terms of attendance, but it's an essential question that pulls the interest of the young people. They want to answer it. It's our way of being able to say, okay, this young person is checked in. We know they're here. And it's been great for us. And like I said, Sac Chinese alone over 3,000 student engagements just last week, which is amazing.
So Marcus, one thing I know that you deeply care about and are committed to is not only the whole child, but the whole child for all children. And while you mentioned amazing attendance of 3,000 kids and stories, I know it's also deeply on your heart and mind are those children that we're not reaching in this distance learning environment.
Mm-hmm.
And can you say a little bit about that from your perspective?
Sure. Yeah, so for our school district as a whole, our superintendent, Superintendent Aguilar, and our board members, from our president, Jesse Ryan, are all really concerned about how do we reach those young people who just have not checked in with us, even since March 13th, when this whole thing started. We have about 1,600 students that we're still working to get in contact with. And one of the great things is our principals are doing an amazing job, along with our teachers, getting us the information that we need. And we're hoping this week, we're going to be able to use our community partners who have a different connection on the ground to be able to go and reach out to those families that, for whatever reason, just haven't been able to check in with us. And we don't know what that may be right now. It could be from internet connection to being honest about the fact that for a lot of families, school can be a place of trauma, right? So this has become kind of a break. Like, I don't know that I want to check in. But what we want to make sure is that families are taken care of, that families are getting the food that they need, that students aren't losing anything when it comes to academics or just emotional well-being. As we know, the suicide rates have gone up, or just trauma rates in terms of mental health have gone up. So we want to make sure not only that we are getting those young people academically taken care of, we just want to know that they're okay. So using our community partners, being able to reach out, your Grade Kings, to your folks at Sac Chinese, Daryl Roberts, and all our supplemental providers, they have a different foot on the ground, and we'll know those families, hopefully be able to get in contact with those families, even if it means some door to door. We don't want to put too many people in contact with folks physically, but as much as we can do, we're going to do. So we got a great team. Our attendance office is doing amazing work to get all the numbers that we need, but then taking away the numbers and putting names to those young people so we can go and make sure they're engaged.
Yeah, thank you. Well, introduce us to your guest, our guest.
Yeah, most definitely. So it's exciting, to be sitting here with Malik Ibarra, who has been a part of our Men's and Women's Leadership Academy since he was a freshman. He's been riding with us for a very long time, and for those of you that do know, Men's and Women's Leadership Academy is our leadership program that we have at Sac City Unified School District. And Malik has been able to be a part of that in a way that maybe not all students have, because Malik has stepped into a lot of different opportunities with the Campaign for Black Male Achievement, to the Fun 2 Foundation, and going over to Denver and learning how to fly fish. I don't know how well he did with the fly fishing, but I'll let him talk about that. But he's also done some great PSAs for building healthy communities with Kim Williams down in LA. So he's had some great experiences. I think what's fun about Malik, and I'll let him jump into where he's getting ready to go, but then we'll talk a little bit about ending the school year in the midst of a pandemic. But when we went to LA, fun story, Malik is a basketball player. And Malik will tell you as many times as he possibly can that he is a great basketball player. And we went to Venice Beach, just walking. We had a break, and we just wanted to take the young people out for a minute. And we go down to Venice Beach, where, of course, we know everybody plays basketball. It's West Coast kind of Rutgers, I guess, if you would say. Not Rutgers, but I'm thinking of the New York basketball area. Malik, help me out.
It's
Michael.
The most competitive environments for outdoor court basketball versus it's Venice, which is West Coast, versus Rutgers Park, which is East Coast.
Yeah. So, we thinking of that, we took Malik down, and we're just sitting there watching everybody play ball. And Malik kind of walks out on the court, and some of the older guys there, made a comment to Malik that, "Oh, young buck, you don't want to come out here and play." And Malik said, "You wouldn't be able to handle me if I got on the court." And they all started yelling. I mean, just the whole court shut down. It was like, young buck think he could play. Malik, we did not know had basketball shoes, shorts, ready to go in his backpack, went and got dressed, went out on that court. And when I tell you, Michael and Heather, he showed out. Like at the end of the game, everybody came up to him and was like, oh, okay, you the truth. Go do what you got to do. So we're excited for him as he gets ready to, he'll be playing in Long Beach City College. I'll let him talk more about that. But Malik, just kind of give us, what's next for you, but also thinking about this pandemic. What has it been like, as a senior ending out this school year, thinking about the ceremonial traditions of graduation and senior skip days and things of that nature? Like, what's going on with you right now? One, thinking about Long Beach, but two, ending out your school year.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, getting accepted to Long Beach City College was definitely a blessing in disguise, because I definitely didn't know what path I wanted to take, whether it be full-time pursue education. And if I were to do that, I would have definitely went to Cal State East Bay. But I just knew that my heart was still into basketball. I would watch old videos of when I was playing during the season, and I was still getting butterflies in my stomach, and I was just like, as if I didn't even know what was going to happen next, and I already played it, prior months before. So I just knew that my heart was still in it. I knew that my whole body was just still into the game of basketball. So I was making a couple phone calls and making a couple text messages, really putting myself out there, emailing coaches. And my head coach at my high school, West Campus High School, he knew a coach down at Long Beach City College, and he said, I can talk to him, and if he really likes you, make sure you shoot him a text, shoot him a phone call. And I said, will do. And luckily enough, the coach fell in love with my game. He said he really needed a point guard, and so I said, I'm a playmaking point guard. I pass first. I make sure everybody eats around me, and then if I need to get buckets, I need to get buckets. But I definitely think that opportunity, and I was doing some research into the academics, and they really are heavy on academics as well. It's very balanced school. And they have my major, which I really want to do, which is business and marketing with a focus on entrepreneurship. But I want to definitely study the business and marketing part of it, so that way when I leave there and graduate college, I will be able to start my own business and be my own CEO. So that way I can give back to children in low poverty communities, like myself in a low poverty community, so that way they all have an opportunity and chance the way that I grew up, being able to travel, speak, and giving their voice out to really showcase like how they were living, and but that all starts with the whole Men's Leadership Academy and my involvement in that through my freshman year. But Long Beach, I definitely feel like it's going to be a great fit for me, and I can't wait to get down there. I'm training like crazy every day, working out in the garage, doing sand workouts, just mentally and physically getting myself prepared for what is to come, because it's definitely not going to be easy, especially now. It's never going to be easy. It's always going to get harder.
You'll do great, though. You'll do great. So thinking about, ending out your school year during this time, what's been going on in your mind? What are you feeling? What about, the young people around you that you talk to, even some of the teachers that you may be working with? Just what's the sense that you're getting from folks, and yourself about ending out the school year this way?
Me personally, it's definitely not what I expected for it to end out as. I was definitely expecting, a senior ditch day, senior sunset, senior trip, graduating, getting my diploma on the stage, and everybody saying, "Go Malik, woo!" Just the typical. But this definitely hit us hard in the whole senior class, and talking to some people, and they're saying that this sucks, because school was a way for people to come together and stay focused, or even like experience things that were going on at home, because everybody needs a friend, and school might have only been a place for someone to go and experience friendship or go experience actual education. So some people are very upset about that, with the aspect of school and the fact that you can't really go see people. I know people who are not really like taking this as seriously, you know, like still kind of treating it as a vacation, you know, a temporary vacation, and you know, it's gonna come back. It's gonna go back to normal in like a month or so. And you know, you can be an optimistic person, but you have to also treat this seriously. You can't risk, you know, putting yourself out there and getting somebody else sick. But most of my friends were saying that this is a very unfortunate opportunity for us, for the class of 2020, to experience this whole pandemic going on, with the fact that, you know, it's our last couple of months as seniors. We're all going to different places around the world, and we might not connect again. And you know, West Campus is a small school. We're only 800, 900 kids, and in my senior class, we're about 230, 245 kids. So we've all grown to have a pretty close bond with each other. So it kind of sucks to kind of finish out like that. But and the teachers, most of them are being really supportive. Like I know, for example, there's a teacher at West Campus that I've known since my freshman year, Miss Bell. I was talking to her yesterday when I went to go clean out my locker, and she was saying that this is a very tough time for people to really cope with, even teachers. So I'm really feeling for everybody, and I'm just really hoping that, you know, everyone can find something to do in order to stay healthy, like mentally through this, because it is tough. A lot of people kind of drive off the edge at this point, thinking that there's no point in, you know, since I'm not getting a graduation, or I'm not getting to be able to see my friends, what's the point, you know? And but there's a lot to experience during this time. This really brought my mother and I closer together. We've always been close, but it just makes it even closer. But this is definitely the time to spend with your family, and just enjoy the last couple of months before we enter our first semester of college.
You know, we just have about a minute left. Marcus, Malik, anything else you want to share we haven't touched on?
Well, I'll just, you know, again, say for anyone out there with after school ideas or thoughts, like there's amazing ways that you can really just share with young people different opportunities, you know, whether it be documentaries on Netflix, taking the time to get on video and reading a book, you know, and uploading it. That's what a lot of our supplemental providers have been doing, is just uploading videos of different lessons, small things that they can do, using social media as much as possible. You know, of course, TikTok and whatnot have been the craze with the Don't Rush Challenge and everything else. Whatever you can find to just be able to dive deep into a space that allows for you to mentally be okay, and to understand that this too shall pass. Things are a little bit different right now, but there are some great ways to do some things. And please feel free, anybody watching, you know, if you have questions, myself, anyone from our youth development team, we could definitely provide support for different ideas that you can use to make sure young people are engaged during this time.
Heather, do you want to put the flyer up on the screen that Marcus, just one example of the resources that Marcus's team has put out there?
Yeah, so this is just one of the ones that I found and grabbed off of Twitter. And so there is so much content out there, but I really appreciate this, Marcus, because I think this is just an easy snapshot for quick things that folks can do when people are feeling overwhelmed and not sure where to go for information. So I know, you know, working on communications, this is just really great. And when you say one pager, some of us might have nightmares of like small fonts and lots of things crammed into one page, but your one pagers are really awesome, and these posts on Twitter are really awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I owe a lot of some of those one pagers. A lot of that work comes from the team as well. Myself, Dr. Mark Carnero and Dylan Fisher, you know, all working hard to push those out. So again, they're pretty simple for the most part. If you have Canva, if not, you know, to Heather's point, sometimes we try to make them as pretty as possible, but just getting the resource out there and whatever that might look like and works for you, do that, because it'll support our babies in a great way.
So Malik, as you're preparing to head out to Long Beach to play basketball this fall, you need a little bit of workout. Sure, I got a basketball in the back of my car at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's my shelf. I do have a little basketball past, so I'm ready for you.
Wow.
Look, as everyone knows, I don't back down from a challenge from the story from the Venice Beach. So, Michael, I am ready for this challenge when all this is over.
Now I have some assurances that you're going to have to sign, and you're going to have to tie your legs together and one hand behind your back, and maybe wear a blindfold. But you're on. You're on.
Okay. You know what? I'll take that. Anything I can get.
Thank you both. Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, everyone. And you can find this and more of our stories on our website and our YouTube channel. So please do subscribe. And thank you so much, and Marcus and Malik, for joining us today. Really appreciate both of you sharing what's going on. Until then, we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.